In political news, New York City has a new Democratic mayor. First elected Democrat since the 1980s, believe it or not. So Bill de Blasio with 73%. That is a massive, massive landslide of epic proportion. That is just an utter humiliation of the Republican. Now, the Republican, this guy Joe Lhota, funny thing about him is he's supposed to be the more conservative alternative. I hate to sound superficial, ladies and gentlemen, but the Republican looked like Lenin. Same kind of hairline and beard and mustache. It's just very hard to run as a conservative if you look like Lenin. Now, that's not the only reason he lost. New York City is a Democratic town. We've had Republicans since Giuliani winning in '93. But there's been sort of a weird, strange, quirky situation every time, whether it's with Giuliani or Mayor Bloomberg. This is kind of more the norm. Now, I have high expectations for Bill de Blasio, but I got to tell you, it's going to be tough for somebody who wants to be a true progressive, who's focused on equality, to create more equality in a city when you're a part of a country and a worldwide economy that is increasingly becoming unequal. I'm skeptical about how much a political leader can do in any one city, but I'm willing to give him a look and a try and wish him the best. Other political news, Terry McAuliffe, longtime Democratic fundraiser, has now obtained office himself. He is the governor of Virginia. Mark my words, no one's talking about this yet, but Terry McAuliffe for president. He's still a young man. He's only 56? That's 1 year older than Reagan was when Reagan first ran for office. And Terry McAuliffe, if he wants to run for president, could raise all the money he wants. Now, he's certainly not going to run against Hillary Clinton. But if he serves well for 4 years, then enters the Clinton administration as a high-level cabinet official, you can certainly anticipate, I could easily envision Terry McAuliffe running for president in, that would be 11 years from now. You heard it here first, folks. Now, some Republicans are trying to spin this. He only won by 3%. Well, it's a very mixed state where Republicans control the governor's mansion right now. So the idea that somehow this was awful, that he only won by 3%, that's pure Republican spin, ladies and gentlemen. Also in the news, poor Ted Cruz. Now, it's one thing to get caught plagiarizing once. Or I'm sorry, not Ted Cruz. I want to talk about Rand Paul. You get those two confused sometimes. Poor Rand Paul, accused of plagiarism not once, not twice, not 3 times, but I've lost count at this point. And he continues with this defense of, I didn't footnote it properly, and for some reason I'm being held to higher standards than everyone else because presumably you evil liberal press. Well, last time I checked, the Washington Times is not a bastion of the liberal media establishment, and they have decided to disassociate themselves with Rand Paul. They have ended his column, and they don't want to have anything to do with him. Rand Paul has shown he is a chip off the old man. He's a chip off the block when it comes to his father, because his father was notorious for never paying attention to what people wrote in his name. His father had all sorts of scandalous, extremist, racist, Klansman type stuff, writings in his newsletters over the years. So it's no surprise that Rand Paul doesn't particularly pay attention to anything with his name. He'll just sign his name to it. Why is this significant? Because the big money people in the party leaders, party activists are trying to figure out, how do we get out of this debacle where we've lost 5 out of the 6 last popular votes for president? Let's find someone who is actually going to be able to withstand media scrutiny and not be considered a joke by the American people. So if Rand Paul thinks he can laugh this off or just point fingers at the media, he is sadly mistaken. At some point, he needs to come clean, admit he was wrong, apologize. Until he does that, this is simply going to linger on and on. Now we can talk about Ted Cruz and Ted Cruz's daddy. Right Wing Watch, which is a great organization, has uncovered a YouTube video where Ted Cruz, his father, Raphael, is saying it's inaccurate to call gay people gay because they're not gay. And abortions rights people shouldn't be called pro-choice. They are called pro-death and pro-murder. Well, now we know where the guy gets it from. He definitely is his father's son.